Hey guys. So I wanted to go back to my old style of content for a little bit, just because I'm really not feeling the direction my content was going, because it felt like, even though I was trying to be like, I guess I was trying, I accidentally started leaning toward the side of being a commentary channel. And as soon as I started to realize that, because I realized it with the last two videos I made, that I'm like, ah, crap, I'm going down a direction I told myself I would never go. So, even if my art videos aren't, like, successful, like, I think I'm okay with that. I don't think I'm really upset with not making YouTube a career. Because at the end of the day, I think all I really want to do is, like, draw and explain my thought process while drawing. So I just wanted to say that, because it was one of those things that as I was coming out with these videos, and some of them did really well, it's just one of those things that, I don't know, I don't want to stress myself out, and I don't want to, like, push myself to do something that's going to cause me stress. And I already do stupid things on Twitter where I share my opinion. I'm trying to get out of that habit, because nobody wants to hear what a late 20s white boy thinks about things that really don't matter. So, even though I started going down that road, I'm course correcting now, and I've decided that even if my speed paints and my explanations of my art are not what people want to watch, they are what I want to make. So, with that out of the way, we're going to go straight into this artwork, and I'm going to be explaining exactly what I was thinking while making this artwork. So, right off the bat, my immediate thought was, I wanted to draw Callie again. If you don't know Callie, it's Mori Calliope. She is actually the first member of hololive to ever like my art, and is probably the main reason I mostly draw VTubers, because there was something about it that I loved. And it was her birthday a few days ago, and I was making art of her before I knew it was going to be her birthday. So whenever I posted, I'm like, oh, well, that's lovely timing. But it was one of those things that whenever I started working on this, I knew that I wanted to draw Callie again, because it had been so long. And two, the only thing I didn't know was what I wanted her to wear. For example, I had like an idea of like doing like a bodysuit. And even though that was a good, solid idea, I just wasn't feeling it, you know? If you're watching the speed paint so far, you'll see, like, kind of the gears turning and the long pause between when I start drawing again. And that's because I'm like, okay, swimsuit? Like, with like, a question mark? And I was like, but how do I make the swimsuit unique? That is always the problem when it comes to art, is it's not good enough to have a regular swimsuit. It has to be unique in some way, shape, or form, because anybody can draw a bikini or a one piece, but like making something fully unique is actually very difficult. Oddly enough, this is my second time recording this video, because I realized while working on the video that I wanted to change course. So I know it's a bit early for my newest video, but I just wanted to like put all this change that wasn't working and was causing me problems behind me. But as you can see from what's happening on the screen right now, this is the point where I was thinking bodysuit, and I end up changing that later. So we're gonna watch me flounder and desperately try to figure out what I want to do with this with these clothes and pose, and then we'll get to what's actually being done. But yeah, this is actually part of the art process, like not knowing what you're going to do and kind of just trying to figure it out. I have the basic body type, but I don't have any idea how I'm going to make it all come together. And that's okay. Like, if you feel like, I don't know how these artists always like know what they're going to do, the reality is they probably only started recording once they figured it out. Usually, it's very rare that I'm firing on all cylinders almost immediately. There was a tiny jump in time there because I think I messed around while forgetting to record. And I do that a few times in this artwork. I have a bad habit of forgetting to record, and it's actually a pretty big problem I have. But this is kind of where I had this idea of kind of like I like this idea of like a buckle and very thick fabric for the swimsuit. And I'm not sure why I chose that. I think it had to do with, like, I had a bunch of references in front of me, and there was one that was slightly, like, ancient Egyptian themed. And I was like, well, I like a little bit of that idea. Why don't I, like, incorporate that into, like, a swimsuit? And I was like, yeah, let's do that. So that was kind of the whole idea. And now that the idea is coming together, we're going to start working on the face. And usually I do the face first, but I didn't this time. And it's kind of one of those things that just every now and then you kind of change course and you figure it out. In this particular artwork, I wanted to go for an embarrassed look because Callie, even though she has one of the more full figures of hololive characters, she's not as presenting as many VTubers, and she tends to steer clear of sexualization. So it's one of those things that part of me wanted to, like, figure out a way to do that without, like, being wrong about her character. And funny enough, I don't actually know what she's like in person because, you know, I've never talked with her. I've only had her interact with my art. But it's one of those things that I basically go off of what I've seen from her streams. And that was the main idea, was I was going off of what I knew. So I had to make sure that with what I do know, that it at least somewhat aligns with what is being presented by the VTuber. In the future, I actually want to start trying to draw more characters from anime. The issue is, and this is one of those things that it's going to sound like shocking to all the anime fans out there, but I don't actually watch anime. I used to when I was younger, but as I got older, I just didn't have as much time for it anymore, and I enjoyed drawing it more than I enjoyed watching it. I stopped watching anime right around the finale of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, and also, like, Hellsing Ultimate. After that, like, I tried to watch Mr. Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, and I liked it at first because it was cute, but there were things about it that made me super uncomfortable. Mainly the things with Kana. That I always, like, it was too much for me personally. Like, if you like it, I'm not gonna judge you, but it's one of those things that, for me personally, it was a little too weird for me. So that was one of those things. So if that's your lost fact of the day, I don't actually watch anime anymore. So, like, drawing popular anime characters is, like, not really in the cards, because I think the last anime I watched that I really enjoyed was Viren. That whole, like, life after Journey's End is such a beautiful anime, and I really, really like it. So that's one of the few animes I actually do watch. Now we're getting to the point where we're drawing the skin and kind of rendering all of everything. I went for, like, a black suit because Callie usually wears black or some darker form of coloring. That, and I always prefer that with her because it makes her hair pop out that much more. Because her hair is pink, and that's, like, neutrals make the hair pop. It's like it's all about design, and making one color stand out more than others is majorly important when designing a character. So I tried to stick with what works for her character because it's designed that way for a reason. People who have been doing it longer than me came up with the design, and their design was really, really good. There's another jump in time here because I forget to hit record whenever I go up, get a drink, or use the restroom, and then go into rendering. I've got such a bad habit of doing that. But now we have the basic, like, rendering, and we're going to start working on kind of adding some effects and getting it to look the way we want. And also, if you have any questions on how I render or do anything, I am willing to answer your questions. I'm small enough right now to where I get enough comments to be, like, happy, but I also have time to answer your questions. So I would actually recommend that if you have any questions about my art or how I do things, feel free to ask them. I will also try to remember to link to my Discord in the description of this video, because I have an art Discord. It has a bunch of artists and a bunch of people who love art. And if you are one of those people, and if you're watching my videos, you probably are. So if that interests you, I will leave a link to my Discord, and hopefully you will have fun and get along with everyone. We do have a rule though, no NSFW. Alright, that's pretty much all you need to know. But with that out of the way, that leads us to the end of this video. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. See you guys next time. Bye.